Maya Brooks sat in the back corner of the lecture hall, her open to the xenobiology notes she had been reviewing for the past hour. Around her, other students chatted and laughed, but Maya kept her eyes down. She had learned long ago that staying quiet and unnoticed was easier than trying to fit in. The lecture ended and students began filing out. Maya packed her things slowly, waiting for the crowd to thin. She preferred walking the campus paths alone where she could think without interruption. Maya, wait up. Wells jogged to catch up with her, his bag bouncing against his shoulder. He was one of the few people who made an effort to talk to her. Did you understand that last part about neural structures? I'm completely lost. She nodded. It's simpler than it sounds. Their brain works in 3 sections instead of 2. I can send you my notes if you want. You're a lifesaver, grinned. Hey, a bunch of us are getting food at the Commons. Want to come? Maya shook her head. I have studying to do, maybe another time. It was always maybe another time. Smile faded a bit, but he nodded. Sure, see you tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. She watched him walk away, feeling the familiar weight of isolation. It was better this way, safer. People who got close asked questions, and Maya had too many secrets to risk real friendships. The campus of Prime stretched out before her, a beautiful mix of architecture from dozens of species. Crystalline towers stood next to dome structures. Gardens featured plants from 100 different worlds. Students of every imaginable form moved between buildings, heading to classes or recreational areas. Maya walked past it all with barely a glance. She had seen enough strange and beautiful things in her life. None of it impressed her anymore. Professor wants to see you, a voice made her stop. She turned to find a message drone hovering at eye level. He's in his office, says it's important. The drone zipped away before she could respond. Maya changed direction, heading toward the xenobiology building. Professor was a tall and graceful with skin that shifted colors based on his mood. He had been kind to her since she started his advanced program 2 years ago. His office door was open. Maya knocked anyway. Maya, come in, please. His skin was a worried blue-green, not a good sign. She stepped inside. The office was filled with samples, screens showing biological data, and books from across the galaxy. Gestured to a chair, but he remained standing. Have you heard about the disappearances? He asked. Maya nodded. Everyone had heard. 3 students had vanished in the past 2 weeks. Security found no trace of them, no signs of struggle, no witnesses. They were just gone. 2 more disappeared last night, said quietly. One of them was my niece, Sira. Maya felt something cold settle in her stomach. I'm sorry. The Coalition security is investigating, but they have nothing. No leads, no evidence. His colors shifted to a darker shade. I fear there is something organized behind this, something that knows how to avoid detection. What can I do? Maya asked. Looked at her with 3 eyes that held both hope and hesitation. You are observant, Maya, more than most. If you notice anything unusual, anything at all, please tell me. She agreed and left his office with her mind already working. 5 students in 2 weeks, different species, different schedules, no obvious connection, but there had to be a pattern. There was always a pattern. The next day, Maya changed her routine. She arrived at the library early and stayed late. She took different paths between classes. She watched the crowds, looking for anything out of place. She found at the Commons that afternoon. He was sitting alone, working on his with a frustrated expression. Mind if I sit? She asked. He looked up in surprise. Maya, yeah, of course. She sat across from him. What are you working on? Research grant application. There's only 1 spot available for human students this semester, and the competition is brutal. He rubbed his eyes. Os keeps making comments about how humans don't deserve it. Os, Maya knew him. A student, large and aggressive. He had a group that followed him around, mostly other species who thought they were superior to humans and a few other lesser races. Ignore him, Maya said. Your work is solid. Easy to say, sighed. Hard to do when he's in your face about it. As if summoned by the conversation, Os appeared. He was massive, standing over 7 feet tall with 4 arms and thick-scaled skin. 2 of his friends flanked him, both nearly as large. Well, look at this. The quiet little human girl finally came out to socialize. Os leaned his upper arms on their table. Tell me, Brooks, are you also applying for that grant? Another human thinking they deserve what should go to real scientists. Maya kept her voice level. I'm not applying, earned his spot in the running. You should worry about your own application. Os's eyes narrowed. Careful, little one, you don't want to make an enemy of me. Nobody wants trouble, Maya said. We're just trying to study. Study? Os laughed. It was an ugly sound. He turned to, You're withdrawing your application, human. Do it today, or things will get difficult for you. His jaw tightened, but Maya could see the fear in his eyes. Os was known for making good on his threats. The university had rules against violence, but rules only mattered if someone enforced them. He's not withdrawing anything, Maya said quietly. The commons had gone silent. Other students were watching now. Os straightened to his full height and stared down at Maya. What did you say? Maya stood slowly. Even standing, she barely reached his chest. I said he's not withdrawing. If you have a problem with that, you can report it to the academic committee. For a moment, Os just stared. Then he moved fast, one of his lower arms shooting out to shove Maya backward. She stumbled but caught herself against another table. Stay in your place, human, Os said. Come on, this place smells like weakness. He and his friends left. The commons slowly returned to normal noise levels, though Maya caught several students glancing their way. Was on his feet immediately. Are you okay? Maya, you didn't have to do that. I'm fine. She straightened her jacket. The push had been nothing. She had felt worse than that before breakfast on some mornings in her old life. Don't let him scare you into quitting. I won't, but seriously, be careful. Os isn't the type to forget something like that. Maya nodded, but she was not worried about Os. She was thinking about the pattern, the disappearances, the way organized criminals operated, the fact that the university seemed unable to stop it. That night she sat in her small apartment and reviewed everything she knew. 5 students, different species, different schedules, but all of them were alone when they vanished. All of them were taken from less crowded areas of campus. Her chimed with an incoming message. Unknown sender, she opened it. The message was short. We know what you are. The pits remember. Stay silent or join them. Maya stared at the screen for a long moment. Then she deleted the message, cleared the message history, and ran a trace program. The message had been routed through 6 different systems. Professional work. She walked to her bathroom and looked at her hands under the light. Old scars crossed her knuckles and palms. Reminders of a life she had tried to leave behind. She had changed her name, buried her records, and come here to be someone new. But the past never really stayed buried. Maya closed her hands into fists, feeling the familiar ache in old injuries. Someone knew who she used to be, someone was threatening her, and students were disappearing. She went to bed that night with her mind already made up. If someone was taking students, she would find out who. If they wanted to threaten her, they would learn that some threats worked better than others. The next morning, news broke that 3 more students had vanished overnight. The campus was in panic mode now. Security doubled their patrols. The administration sent out emergency messages. Parents across the galaxy were calling to pull their children from the university. Maya went to her classes as normal. She took her usual seat in the back. She kept quiet and unnoticed. But now she was watching, and she was waiting. Maya spent the next 3 days mapping the campus. She walked every path, noted every camera, and memorized every blind spot. She watched the security patrols and timed their rotations. She saw the patterns that others missed. Noticed, you're acting weird, he said after their morning class. Are you okay? Just being careful, Maya replied. You should be too. He frowned but nodded. The campus had become a nervous place. Students traveled in groups now. The paths were empty after dark. Classes ended early, but the disappearances continued. 2 more students vanished in broad daylight. Maya volunteered to help with student safety patrols. The coordinator was grateful for any help and gave her a schedule. She took the late-night shifts that others avoided. She wanted to be out there, visible, when the next attempt happened. Professor found her in the library on the 4th day. His colors were dark with grief. No word on Sira. The coalition investigators have nothing. It's like she vanished into empty space. I'm sorry, Maya said. She meant it. Sira was young, barely 18. She did not deserve whatever was happening to her. If you were going to take someone, Maya asked carefully, how would you do it here? Looked at her strangely. What do you mean? The security is good. Cameras everywhere, patrols, but people keep disappearing, so how are they doing it? The professor considered this. The maintenance tunnels, perhaps, they run under most of the campus. Access is restricted but not heavily monitored. Maya filed that information away. Thank you. That night she walked her patrol route as assigned, but when she reached the science building, she took a different turn. She found a maintenance access door exactly where the campus maps said it would be. The lock was standard security, easy to bypass if you knew how. She went inside. The tunnels were dark and cramped. Pipes ran along the walls. The air smelled like recycled atmosphere and old metal. Maya walked slowly, letting her eyes adjust. She found what she was looking for 20 minutes later. Footprints in the dust. Recent ones, multiple sets. They led deeper into the tunnel system. Maya followed them until she heard voices ahead. She pressed herself against the wall and moved silently forward. Two figures stood near a junction point, both wearing maintenance uniforms that did not quite fit right. "How many more does the boss want?" one asked. He was, she thought, 4 arms, thick build. 6 more to fill the quota, the other replied, a slender and quick. "Then we move to a different system. This place is getting too hot." "Should be easy. These university types don't fight back." They laughed and moved on, walking away from her position. Maya waited until their footsteps faded. Then she returned to the surface, memorizing the route. She knew enough now. This was organized. They had a quota. They were shipping students somewhere, and they would try again soon. Maya made a decision that night. She would give them what they wanted. She would let them take her. The next evening, she walked alone through the maintenance corridor behind the library. It was late, past midnight. The perfect target. She kept her pace steady and her eyes down, playing the part of a careless student. They hit her from behind, a stun weapon powerful enough to drop a warrior. Maya felt the electricity course through her body. She let it take her down, forced herself to fall limp. Through half-closed eyes, she saw 4 figures emerge from the shadows. "Clean grab," one said. "Command was right about this one. She comes through here every night on patrol. She's small even for a human, won't last long in the pits." They bound her wrists and ankles with restraints, strong ones designed for dangerous prisoners. Maya kept her breathing shallow and her body slack. They threw her over someone's shoulder and carried her through the tunnels. The journey took an hour. They brought her to a hidden cargo ship parked in an abandoned section of the spaceport. Maya was thrown into a hold with 12 other prisoners. She hit the floor and stayed down. Someone touched her shoulder gently. "Are you hurt?" a young voice frightened. Maya opened her eyes. A girl, maybe 17 years old, was looking at her with concern. Blue skin, large eyes, trembling hands. "I'm okay," Maya whispered. She sat up slowly, taking in her surroundings. The hold was dark and cold. The other prisoners sat against the walls, all in various states of fear and shock. She recognized 2 of them from campus. "I'm Sira," the girl said. "Sneeze." Maya felt relief wash through her. "I know, your uncle is looking for you." "You know my uncle?" Hope flared in Sira's eyes. "I'm his student, Maya Brooks." Sira grabbed her hand. "Then someone knows we're missing. Someone is looking." "They're looking," Maya confirmed, but she did not say that the coalition would probably be too slow. These operations knew how to stay hidden. By the time authorities found this ship, they would be long gone. The ship launched 6 hours later. Maya felt the engines rumble to life. She had spent that time watching the guards, counting them, nodding their weapons. She memorized the ship's layout through the small window in the hold door. She kept Sira calm and helped the other prisoners stay quiet. One of the guards was careless. He came too close to the holding cells once, and Maya got a good look at his uniform. She recognized the symbol. The Crimson Collective. They were slavers and fight organizers, operating in the lawless zones between Coalition space and the frontier. She knew where they were going now, the pits. The trip lasted 3 days. The guards fed them minimal rations and gave them water twice daily. None of the prisoners were harmed, which told Maya something important. They wanted their merchandise in good condition. Sira stayed close to her the whole time. "What do you think they want with us?" "I don't know," Maya lied. She knew exactly what they wanted. But telling these terrified students that they were being taken to fight and die would not help anyone. On the 3rd day, the ship docked. Maya felt the heavy clang of connection and the hiss of atmosphere equalizing. The hold door opened and guards filed in. "Everyone up. Move in a line. Anyone who causes trouble will be stunned." They were herded out of the ship and into a massive underground facility. Maya's assessment had been correct. This was a fighting arena carved deep into the rock of some lawless mining station. She could hear crowds above them, the roar of spectators watching matches. They were brought to a processing area. Each prisoner was scanned, measured, and categorized. With arms and cold eyes reviewed them one by one. He held it and made notes as he passed. Female light build Category 3. Male strong Category 1. Human male average Category 2. He reached Maya and barely glanced at her. Human female weak build Category 4. Cannon fodder. Put her in the first match rotation. The guards pulled her aside with 3 other prisoners marked as Category 4. Sira tried to follow, but other hands held her back. "No, please let me stay with her," Sira cried. "Move along," a guard said, pushing the girl toward a different group. Maya met Sira's eyes across the room. She tried to convey calmness, tried to tell her without words that everything would be okay. She did not know if it worked. They threw Maya into a cell with the other Category 4 prisoners. Through the energy bars, she could see the arena floor. 2 fighters were locked in brutal combat against her. The crowd was screaming. Money was changing hands. They went down hard and did not get up. Medical drones swept in to remove the body. The crowd cheered. "First-timers," a voice spoke from the cell next to theirs. Maya looked over and saw a warrior watching them. "You're all first-timers, I can tell." "How long have you been here?" Maya asked. 2 years, won enough fights to earn better quarters, not enough to earn freedom. They studied her. "You're small even for a human. They put you against anyone serious, you'll die in seconds." "Probably," Maya agreed. The arena master, the from processing, appeared on the screens above the arena. "Attention, honored guests. Tomorrow's morning matches will feature fresh blood, including our opening bout, a human female against the..." The crowd roared its approval. In the cell next to Maya, the warrior made a sound of sympathy. "He's killed 57 opponents, never lost a match." One of the other Category 4 prisoners, a young male, started crying. "We're going to die here. We're all going to die." Sira's face appeared on a screen along with other prisoners. "First match winner earns the right to negotiate for their survival. The weak will be eliminated. The strong will be given purpose." Maya watched the screen, watched Sira's terrified face, and felt something old and cold wake up inside her. She had left this life behind. She had promised herself never to fight like this again. She had changed her name and her future to escape what she had been. But these people had made a mistake. They had taken innocent students. They had taken Sira, who did not deserve this. They had looked at Maya Brooks and seen only a weak human girl. They had not seen what she used to be. Maya looked down at her hands. The scars on her knuckles were old and faded, but they were still there. Reminders of every fight, every victory, every time she had survived when she should have died. The warrior was still watching her. "What's your name, human?" "Maya," she said quietly. "Well, Maya, get some rest. Tomorrow is going to be your last day alive." Maya leaned against the cell wall and closed her eyes. But she was not resting. She was remembering. She was calculating. She was preparing. Because tomorrow, the Crimson Collective was going to learn something important. They had captured a student. They thought they had found cannon fodder for their arena. 5 years ago, Maya had been someone else. She did not like to think about those years. They came to her anyway as she sat in the cell, listening to the sounds of the arena above, cheering crowds, the clash of weapons, the final cries of losers. She had been born on a frontier colony called New Dakota. It was a harsh world, barely terraformed, where people worked themselves to death mining rare minerals. Her parents had died in a tunnel collapse when she was 12. The colony authorities sold her to pay their debts. That was how she ended up on Gehenna Station. Gehenna was the worst of the fighting circuits. No rules, no mercy. Children fought alongside adults. Species from across the galaxy were thrown together and forced to kill for the entertainment of criminals and corrupt officials. Maya was 14 when she had her first match. They had given her a blade and thrown her into the pit with a twice her size. She still remembered the terror, the certainty that she would die. But humans were survivors. Earth had been a death world, and that heritage lived in human blood. Maya was fast. She was smart. And when they came at her with all his strength, she dodged and let him impale himself on his own momentum. She won barely, but she won. They made her fight again 3 days later, then again a week after that. Each time she survived. Each time she learned. She studied every species, learned their weak points, understood their fighting styles. She stopped being afraid and started being dangerous. By the time she was 17, they called her the Ghost of Gehenna. She moved like smoke in the arena. Opponents could not pin her down. She was not the strongest or the fastest, but she was the... She thought 3 moves ahead. She used her enemy's power against them. She fought 47 matches and won them all. The prize money added up. The arena masters offered her contracts. Other fighters asked for her secrets, but Maya hated every second of it. She hated what she was becoming. Every fight stripped away more of her humanity. Every victory made her more like the monsters who ran the pits. On her 18th birthday, she used her prize money to buy her freedom. She changed her name, buried her records in false data, and disappeared. She went to Prime with fake credentials and started over. For 3 years, she had been Maya Brooks' quiet student. Nobody special, nobody dangerous. That was about to change. Morning came to the arena. Guards appeared at her cell and opened the energy bars. Human female, you're up. Maya stood. The other prisoners watched her with pity. The warrior in the next cell nodded once. Make it quick, human, don't suffer. She walked between the guards without resistance. They led her through corridors carved from rock, past other cells where fighters waited. Some looked at her with recognition as if they sensed something. Most just looked away. The arena master was waiting near the entrance to the fighting floor. He looked at Maya with barely hidden contempt. You're the first match. Entertainment for breakfast. Die well, human. I need to negotiate first, Maya said. Laughed, negotiate? You haven't won yet. When I win, Maya said calmly, I want the students released, all of them. His laughter grew louder. When you win, that's precious. Tell you what little human you survive 3 minutes with and I'll consider it. Not 3 minutes, full victory, and I want all the students freed. Leaned down until his face was inches from hers. You're in no position to make demands, but sure, you beat which you won't and we'll talk about your demands. Now get in there and die. The gates opened. Maya stepped onto the arena floor. The roar hit her like a physical force. Thousands of spectators filled the stands, criminals and slavers all screaming for blood. The arena was circular, maybe 60 feet across, with a sand floor and walls that rose 20 feet high. Screens showed her face from multiple angles. Across the arena, another gate opened, emerged. He was massive, 8 feet tall, 400 pounds of muscle and aggression, a warrior in his prime, covered in scars and wearing armor on his arms and chest. His species was built for combat, with reinforced bones and redundant organs. The crowd's volume doubled. Maya walked to the center of the arena. She stumbled once, catching herself. She let her shoulders slump. She made herself look small and terrified. Approached from the other side. His eyes held no emotion. He had killed 57 opponents. She would be 58. Begin, his voice boomed across the arena. Charged immediately. He moved fast for his size, closing the distance in seconds. Maya backpedaled, her eyes wide with apparent fear. She tripped and fell, rolling aside as fist cratered the sand where she had been. The crowd loved it. They screamed for her blood. Pursued, swinging heavy fists that could shatter bone. Maya dodged, scrambled, and ran. She looked panicked, desperate, weak. She was none of those things. She was counting his movements, measuring his reach. Watching how he distributed his weight, was powerful but predictable. He relied on strength and intimidation. Most of his opponents probably froze in fear, making them easy kills. Maya was not most opponents. Cornered her against the arena wall. He grinned, sensing victory. He drew back his fist for a finishing blow. Maya's expression changed. The fear vanished. Her stance shifted. In that instant, she was not Maya Brooks, the student. She was the ghost of Gehenna, and she had fought opponents like dozens of times. His fist shot forward. Maya moved inside his reach, too close for him to generate full power. She struck his elbow joint with precision, hitting the nerve cluster that every had. His arm went numb for a crucial second. She used that second. She dropped low and swept his leg, using his own forward momentum against him. Stumbled, surprised. No opponent had ever gotten this close before. Maya did not give him time to recover. She moved like water flowing around his defenses. Strike to the knee joint. hit to the kidney area where even were vulnerable. Spinning kick to the back of his neck, targeting the spinal connection. Roared in pain and anger. He spun, trying to grab her, but she was already gone. She had slipped around him, reading his movements before he made them. The crowd had gone quiet. This was not how it was supposed to go. Charged again, more cautious now. Maya stayed just out of reach, making him work for every inch. She was smaller and faster. She could not match his strength, so she did not try. Instead, she did what she always did. She made him defeat himself. Overextended on a punch. Maya caught his arm, used his momentum, and threw him to the ground with a technique that redirected force rather than opposing it. Before he could rise, she was on his back, her arm locked around his throat in a hold that cut off blood to the brain. Thrashed, he was stronger. He could probably break free with enough effort. But Maya had positioned herself perfectly, using his own body weight to maintain the hold. She whispered in his ear, words only he could hear. "You're strong, you're experienced, but you've never fought someone like me. Sleep now, survive today." Struggles weakened. His eyes rolled back. In 30 seconds, he was unconscious. Maya released the hold and stood. The entire arena was silent. Thousands of spectators stared in disbelief. She had won, start to finish, less than 2 minutes. Medical drones swept in. Maya stepped back, allowing them to reach. She checked his pulse, confirmed he was alive. The drones began treatment, scanning his injuries. Woke as the drones worked. He looked up at Maya, confusion and respect in his eyes. She offered her hand. After a moment, he took it and let her help him to his feet. "You fight with honor," said quietly. "You could have killed me, why didn't you?" "Because you're not my enemy," Maya replied. "You're just like me, someone forced into this." Studied her face. "I know you, not your face, but your style. I've seen it before, years ago, the ghost of Gehenna." Maya said nothing, but her silence was confirmation enough. The crowd erupted. Some were angry at the unexpected result. Others were excited by the display of skill. Money changed hands rapidly as people settled bets. Maya turned to face viewing box. The arena master stood with his mouth open, genuine surprise on his face. She spoke clearly, knowing the microphones would pick up her voice. "I won, we negotiate now. Release the students." Recovered his composure. His surprise turned to something else. Greed. "You won one match, human. That was impressive, but one victory proves nothing." "Then let me prove it. Give me whatever test you want." The arena master smiled slowly. "Very well, you want to save those students? Then you enter the gauntlet. 7 matches, 1 night, 3 days from now. Win all 7 and every student goes free." The crowd roared approval. The gauntlet was legendary. No fighter had ever survived all 7 matches in a single night. It was designed to be impossible. "And if I lose?" Maya asked. "Then you die and the students remain mine to sell or use as I see fit," leaned forward. "What's your answer, little human? Do you accept?" Maya looked up at the screens. She saw Sira's face among the captured students. She saw the others, all terrified and helpless. She thought about and Professor back on Prime, probably desperate for any news. She thought about the life she had tried to build, the peace she had sought, the person she had tried to become. All of it was gone now. There was no going back, but maybe she could still go forward. Maybe she could use what she had been to save people who did not deserve this fate. "I accept," Maya said. The crowd went wild. Smile widened. "Excellent, take her back to the cells, feed her well. I want her in prime condition for the gauntlet. This will be the most profitable event of the season." Guards led Maya off the arena floor. As she passed through the corridors, other fighters watched her with new respect. Some nodded. Others whispered her old name, the legend she had tried to leave behind. Was waiting near the medical bay. He stopped her with a gesture. "Why did you really come here, Ghost?" "To save innocent people," Maya said. "By sacrificing yourself, the gauntlet will kill you." "Maybe, but I've survived worse odds." She met his eyes. "Will you help me prepare?" Was silent for a long moment. Then he nodded. "I will, not because I think you can win, but because you fight with honor, and that is rare in places like this." Back in her cell, the other prisoners stared at Maya with awe. The warrior in the next cell spoke first. "I know who you are now. I saw you fight in Gehenna 5 years ago. You were younger then, but the style is unmistakable." "I'm not that person anymore," Maya said quietly. "You are exactly that person. You just pretended otherwise for a while." The warrior paused. My name is Drake. I've been here 2 years. I'll help you prepare for the gauntlet if you'll have me. Others began to speak up. Fighters who had been enemies moments ago offered advice, training tips, information about the 7 opponents she would face. Word spread through the prison blocks. The ghost had returned. Someone was finally standing up to. That night, Maya lay in her cell and stared at the ceiling. She had 3 days to prepare for 7 fights that would each try to kill her. 3 days to get ready for the most dangerous challenge of her life. But she had survived Gehenna. She had clawed her way from nothing to legend once before. The next 3 days passed in a blur of preparation and pain. Allowed Maya access to the training yards, confident that no amount of preparation would save her. The gauntlet had been designed to break even the strongest fighters. 7 opponents, each deadlier than the last, with only minutes between matches to recover. Most fighters died by the 3rd bout. None had ever reached the 7th. Was waiting for her in the yard on the first morning. Other fighters watched from a distance as the massive warrior approached. The first match will be, said without preamble. Blade Master, fast and precise. He's killed 19 opponents, all with cutting strikes. Maya nodded. She knew, 4 arms, each capable of wielding a blade independently. Their species had evolved for arboreal combat, giving them exceptional balance and reflexes. Show me his pattern, she said. Picked up practice weapons and demonstrated. His movements were surprisingly graceful for someone so large. Maya watched, memorizing the rhythm and style. Every fighter had tells. Small movements that telegraphed their intentions. She needed to find them. They worked for hours. Attacked, and Maya defended, learning to read the blade work. She was faster than, which helped, but would be faster still. Drake, from the neighboring cell, joined them in the afternoon. He brought information about the second opponent. The Render, warrior, uses claws and teeth, fights like an animal because that's basically what he is. 26 kills. Maya had fought before. They were dangerous, driven by instinct and rage. How do I keep him calm? You don't is always enraged, keeps him in isolation and drugs him before matches. Drake demonstrated the typical attack pattern. He'll come at you in a frenzy. Most fighters panic and make mistakes. That's when he kills them. More fighters approached throughout the day, offering what they could. A female showed Maya the weak points of the 3rd opponent, a armored named N. A male explained the technique the 4th fighter used, a called stone hands. By evening, Maya's body ached from the training, but her mind was sharp. She knew her opponents now, not personally but strategically. She understood their patterns, their strengths, and most importantly, their weaknesses. Sira appeared at the training yard fence as the sun set. Guards kept the students separate from the fighters, but they could watch from a distance. The young's face was pressed against the fence. Maya, you don't have to do this, Sira called out. Professor would want you safe. He wouldn't want you to die for us. Maya walked to the fence. Your uncle raised you to be brave, to stand up for what's right. I'm just following his example. You're going to die in that arena. Maybe, but maybe I won't. Maya met Sira's eyes. Either way, you're getting out of here, all of you. Tears ran down Sira's blue cheeks. I don't even know you. Why would you do this? Because someone has to, and I'm the only one who can. That night, Maya barely slept. She reviewed every piece of information she had gathered. She visualized each fight, running through scenarios in her mind. By morning, she had a strategy for the first 5 opponents. The last 2 were more problematic. The 6th fighter was Kali's the Silent, an assassin who had killed 38 opponents without ever making a sound. Nobody knew his technique because everyone who faced him died too quickly to report it. The 7th was Eth. Maya had asked about him, and even the veteran fighters grew quiet. Eth was a hybrid, genetically modified and enhanced for combat. He stood 9 feet tall with reinforced bones, redundant organs, and reflexes enhanced by neural implants. He had fought 43 matches and killed every single opponent. Eth is ultimate fighter, explained on the 2nd day of training. He cost a fortune to create. The arena master only uses him for special events. What's his weakness? Maya asked. Hesitated. He doesn't have one, not that anyone has found. Everyone has a weakness. Then you'll have to discover it while he's trying to kill you. The expression was grave. Ghost, I've seen you fight. You're good, maybe the best I've seen, but Eth is beyond good. He's a weapon designed for one purpose. Maya understood, but she did not let fear take hold. Fear was useful only if it kept you alert. Let it become panic and you were already dead. On the third day, something unexpected happened, appeared at the arena. Maya was in the training yard when she saw him in the spectator area. He was disguised as a merchant, wearing local clothing and a hood, but she recognized his walk immediately. Her heart jumped. If he was here, that meant rescue might be possible. Their eyes met across the distance. His expression was desperate and determined. He mouthed something she could not quite read. Then guards moved through the crowd and he disappeared. But Maya had seen enough. Someone knew where she was. Someone was planning something. She just had to survive long enough for whatever plan they had. That night made an announcement across all the prison blocks. Tomorrow night, the gauntlet begins. The human called the Ghost will face 7 champions. Victory means freedom for the captured students. Defeat means death for all of them. Gasps echoed through the cells. Sira's voice rose above the others. Number Maya, he changed the terms. He's going to kill us anyway. Maya stood and faced the screen showing his face. You gave your word. The students go free if I win. I'm a businessman, not a fool. You've made this interesting, Ghost, but I won't let valuable merchandise walk away just because you survive a few fights. Smiled. So here are the real terms. Win all 7 matches and I'll give you a choice. You can leave with 1 student of your choosing. The rest stay and work off their debt in the arena. Rage burned in Maya's chest. You're a coward who hides behind rules you change whenever you want. I'm a businessman who runs an entertainment empire. If you don't like my terms, forfeit. I'll make sure your death is quick. Smile widened. What will it be, Ghost? Do you fight for nothing or do you walk away now? Maya looked at the other cells. At Sira crying, at the other students terrified, at the fighters who had helped her prepare, all watching to see what she would do. She thought about out there somewhere, hopefully with a plan. She thought about the time she needed to buy, the distraction she could provide. I fight, Maya said, and when I win, we'll discuss your broken promises face to face. The gauntlet began at sunset the next day. The arena was packed beyond capacity, every seat filled with spectators eager for blood and spectacle. Maya was brought to a holding area beneath the arena floor. She could hear the crowd above, their excitement building. Other fighters were brought to wish her luck, clasped her shoulder. Fight like you did against me, smart not strong, use their power against them. Drake handed her water. Remember, goes for the throat, keep your chin down. A dozen others offered final advice, small tricks that might save her life. Maya absorbed it all, adding it to the calculations running through her mind. The gates opened. Guards led her to the arena entrance. His voice boomed across the space. Ladies and criminals and collectors, tonight we witness history. The ghost of Gehenna has returned to face the gauntlet. 7 champions, 7 battles, 1 night. Let us begin. Maya stepped onto the arena floor. The crowd's roar washed over her. Screens showed her face from every angle. She saw herself as they saw her, a small human woman facing impossible odds. She saw in the crowd, 4th row from the arena floor. He was with others now, people she did not recognize. They were positioned strategically around the arena, not random placement. A plan was forming. First match announced, the Blade Master. The opposite gate opened. Emerged, 4 blades gleaming in his 4 hands. He moved like flowing water, graceful and deadly. The bowed formally to the crowd, then turned to Maya. I will make this quick, human. You deserve that much for coming this far. I appreciate the thought, Maya replied, but I'm not planning to die tonight. His expression changed to something like respect. Then let us begin. The signal came, attacked. He was fast, even faster than it demonstrated. 4 blades wove a pattern of death, each strike aimed to kill or cripple. Maya retreated, her feet finding the rhythm of his attacks. She had studied this. She knew this pattern. Pressed forward, the crowd cheered. Money changed hands. Most were betting on how quickly she would die. Maya found the opening she had been waiting for. Slower right blade always came a fraction of a second after his upper left. It was tiny, barely noticeable, but it was there. She moved inside his guard during that fraction of a second. Her elbow struck his inner arm joint, the one spot where it had reduced muscle density for flexibility. His blade dropped. Before he could compensate, she had his upper left arm twisted behind his back. The crowd gasped. This was not how it was supposed to go. Maya used leverage, not strength. She forced to drop his remaining blades or have his arm broken. He dropped them. She swept his legs and put him face down on the sand, her knee on his back. Yield, she said quietly. Struggled, then stopped. I yield. Maya released him and stepped back. Medical drones moved in. The first match was over in less than a minute. His voice held surprise. The ghost wins round 1, 15-minute rest, then round 2 begins. Maya walked to the side of the arena. Attendants offered water and medical scanning. She had taken no damage, but the night was young and 6 more fights waited. She looked up he nodded once. Whatever was being planned, it was still in motion. She just had to keep fighting. Round 2 announced, the render. The gates opened. Emerged on all fours, moving like the predator he was. His eyes were wild with the drugs they hot-charged the moment the signal came. No strategy, no planning, just pure animal rage enhanced by whatever drugs had pumped into him. Maya rolled aside. Claws tore through the space where she had been standing. She came up running, keeping distance between them. Drake had been right. Fought on instinct, which made him unpredictable but also readable. The warrior spun and charged again. Maya dodged, but his claws caught her arm, tearing through fabric and skin. First blood. The crowd roared approval. Pain sharpened her focus. She could not match his speed or strength. She had to use what humans did best, think and adapt. Came at her in a frenzy of claws and teeth. Maya led him in a circle around the arena, always just out of reach. She was tiring him, making him burn through his drug-fueled energy. It was working, but slowly, too slowly. Her arm was bleeding, and he was still strong. She needed to end this fast. Maya stopped running. She turned to face directly. The warrior's eyes widened with bloodlust. Prey had stopped fleeing, time to kill. He leaped. Maya dropped flat, sailed over her, his momentum carrying him into the arena wall. The impact stunned him for a crucial second. Maya was on him before he could recover, targeting the nerve cluster at the base of his skull that every had. Her fist struck true, collapsed unconscious. Medical drones swept in. Maya's arm was treated quickly, the wound sealed with biofoam. She had won, but the cost was showing. 2 fights down, 5 to go. 10-minute rest, announced. He sounded less pleased now. Then we continue. The third match was against N, the armored. He was massive and covered in plate armor that made him almost invulnerable to standard attacks. Maya spent the first minute of the fight searching for weak points. She found them at the joints, where armor had to be flexible. It was brutal work. Every strike to his joints had to be precise. N's fists hit like hammers. One caught her ribs, and Maya felt something crack. But she kept moving, kept striking, until N's armor became his prison. His joints locked up from the repeated trauma. He fell and could not rise. 3 down, 4 to go. The fourth fight was stone hands. He was patient and methodical, trying to catch her in holds that would end the match. Maya used her speed advantage, staying mobile, wearing him down. But exhaustion was catching up to her. Her broken ribs made breathing painful. Her injured arm was weakening. Stone hands caught her ankle. Maya twisted, sacrificing more pain in her ribs to break free. She struck his throat, not enough to kill, but enough to make breathing difficult. He released her, gasping. She ended it with a kick to his temple. 4 down, 3 to go. But Maya was bleeding, limping, and struggling to breathe deeply. 15-minute rest, said. His voice held concern now. She was actually doing it. She was actually winning. Maya collapsed against the arena wall. Medical drones worked on her injuries. They sealed wounds and numbed pain, but they could not fix broken ribs or restore lost energy. She was running on willpower now. Was still in the crowd. He looked terrified but determined. People around him were moving, positioning themselves. Whatever was coming, it would be soon. Round 5 announced, Kali's the Silent. The assassin entered the arena like a shadow. He made no sound as he moved, no wasted motion. He studied Maya with cold, professional eyes. The signal came, Kali's moved. He was faster than anyone Maya had faced. Faster than. His strikes came from angles she barely saw. Only her training from Gehenna saved her. She had fought before. She knew their patterns. But Kali's was different. He had no pattern. Every attack was unique, flowing from one to the next with deadly improvisation. Maya took hits to her legs, her shoulders, her face. Nothing fatal but death by 1,000 cuts. She changed tactics. If she could not predict his movements, she would control the space. She moved to the center of the arena and stopped. Let him come to her. Kali's circled, looking for an opening. Maya stood perfectly still, conserving energy. When he attacked, she was ready. She caught his arm, used his momentum, and slammed him into the ground with a technique that turned his speed against him. Kali's rose immediately, but Maya had learned his secret. He was fast because he was always moving. Take away his momentum, and he was just another fighter. The match became a battle of patience. Every time Kali's attacked, Maya countered with techniques that stopped his movement. It was exhausting work with broken ribs and bleeding wounds. But slowly, surely, she wore him down. Kali's made a mistake. He overextended on a strike. Maya trapped his arm and applied pressure to his elbow. "Yield or break," she whispered. He yielded. 5 down, 2 to go. Maya could barely stand. 20-minute rest, announced. His voice held something new now, fear. Maya sat on the arena floor. She was done pretending to be okay. Blood soaked her clothes. Her ribs screamed with every breath. Her vision was starting to blur from exhaustion and pain. But she was alive, and she had 2 more fights. Above her was moving through the crowd. Others moved with him. They wore the plain clothes of spectators, but Maya recognized military movement when she saw it. Coalition forces, or maybe mercenaries. Either way, help was coming. But not yet. She needed to buy more time. Round 6 said, the Destroyer. A new opponent had changed the rules again. Instead of the listed opponent, a fresh fighter emerged. A warrior even larger than, wielding a massive hammer. Cheating, of course he was cheating. Entered the arena with contempt in his eyes. "You're already broken, human. I'll make this quick." Maya stood on shaking legs. Everyone keeps saying that. Nobody's managed it yet. The fight was agony, was strong and fresh. Every blow from his hammer shook the ground. Maya had no strength left to dodge properly. She took hits that should have killed her. Her shoulder dislocated, more ribs cracked. Her leg nearly gave out. But humans were survivors. Earth had forged them in fire and ice. Maya's ancestors had climbed from the bottom of the food chain to the top through sheer stubborn refusal to die. She channeled that refusal now. Swung his hammer in a finishing blow. Maya dropped under it, grabbed sand from the arena floor and threw it in his eyes. While he was blind, she struck his knee with everything she had left. The joint buckled. Fell, Maya was on him instantly, her good arm locked around his throat. He thrashed, but she held on with desperate strength. He went unconscious. 6 down, 1 to go. Maya could not stand. Medical drones swarmed her, working frantically to keep her conscious. The crowd was screaming. Some were angry at the unexpected outcome. Others were excited by the display of human endurance. Appeared on the screens, his face was furious. Final match, Eth. The arena gates opened. The hybrid warrior emerged. Eth was everything they had said, 9 feet of engineered death. His body was a weapon, every part designed to kill. He looked at Maya with eyes that held no emotion, no humanity. "I need to negotiate," Maya said, her voice barely carrying across the arena. "I've earned that right." "You've earned nothing," snarled. "You cheated, you fought dirty." "I survived," Maya corrected. "That was the deal, win 7 matches." Above her and his team were moving faster. Security was starting to notice. Any moment now, something would happen. Eth was approaching. Maya tried to stand and failed. Her body had nothing left. Then the explosion started. His team had placed charges on the arena's main power systems. The lights went out. Emergency lighting kicked in, casting everything in red. Alarms blared. The crowd panicked. In the chaos, leaped from the stands onto the arena floor. He was not alone. A woman with military bearing followed, along with 4 others. They wore armor now, their disguises abandoned. Maya shouted, running toward her, "Come on, we're leaving." But Eth stood between them and escape. The hybrid warrior did not care about alarms or explosions. He had been given a target. He would complete his mission. Pulled a weapon, some kind of energy pistol. He fired at Eth. The blasts hit the hybrid's chest and did nothing. Eth backhanded, sending him flying into the arena wall. Maya felt rage cut through the pain and exhaustion. Not her friend. She forced herself to stand. Every part of her body screamed in protest. She had nothing left. No strength, no speed, no clever techniques. But she had survived Gehenna. She had fought 47 matches and won them all. She had rebuilt her life from nothing. And she would be damned if she let this engineered monster hurt her friend. Eth turned back to Maya. He moved with mechanical precision, every motion calculated for maximum efficiency. Maya did not try to match his strength. She did not rely on speed she no longer had. Instead, she did what humans did best. She adapted. Eth was engineered to be perfect. Enhanced reflexes, reinforced body, superior strength. But perfection had a weakness. It was predictable. Eth had been programmed with every known fighting technique, every counter, every strategy. Maya had been broken and remade in the pits. She had learned to fight dirty, to survive at any cost, to use techniques no programmer would think to include. When Eth attacked, Maya did not defend. She fell into him, making herself dead weight. He tried to catch her, an automatic response. In that moment of confusion, she struck his knee from an angle no engineer would have reinforced. Something in the joint gave way. Eth stumbled. Maya was on him, fighting like a desperate animal. She bit, clawed, struck pressure points, did everything her trainers at Gehenna had called dishonorable and effective. Eth threw her off. She hit the ground hard, but she had done damage. The hybrid was limping now, his perfect body showing weakness. The military woman was shouting orders. Extraction teams, move in, get those students out. More explosions rocked the arena. The prison blocks were being breached. Maya could hear fighting in the corridors above. Eth moved toward her for a finishing strike. Maya had nothing left. Her vision was darkening. This was how it ended. Then was there, the warrior slammed into Eth from the side. Drake followed, along with a dozen other fighters who had been freed in the chaos. They swarmed the hybrid warrior, overwhelming him with numbers. Reached Maya, can you walk? No, she said honestly, but carry me if you have to, get the students out first. The military woman appeared. Captain Lisa Grant, we're here to shut this operation down. Where are the students being held? Maya pointed. Upper level East Wing, Sierra and 15 others, they're separated from the fighters. Grant spoke into her comm. Teams 2 and 3 Upper East, recover the students. Team 1 with me, we're getting this woman out of here. The arena was chaos now. Freed fighters were settling old scores with guards. The crowd was fleeing for the exits. Security forces were trying to restore order and failing. Maya saw himself fleeing through a private exit. Even in her exhausted state, something cold and hard settled in her chest. He had done this. He had kidnapped innocent students. He had tried to make them fight and die for entertainment. There, Maya said, pointing at, don't let him escape. Grant saw him. She smiled grimly. Team 4, intercept the arena master. I want him alive for trial. They carried Maya toward the exit. Behind them, Eth finally went down under the combined assault of a dozen freed fighters. The hybrid warrior would survive, but his perfect record was broken. They reached the docking bay where Grant's ship waited. Other ships were arriving now, coalition forces responding to the emergency calls. Students were being led aboard in groups. Maya saw Sierra among them, crying but alive. Was dragged past in restraints. He saw Maya and spat. You ruined everything, human. Maya met his eyes. You ruined yourself when you took innocent people. I just made sure you paid for it. They brought her aboard Grant's ship, a vessel called the Stray Dog. Medical equipment was better here. Actual doctors began treating her injuries properly, sat beside her the whole time. How did you find us? Maya asked. Professor contacted everyone he could think of. I convinced Captain Grant to help. It took 3 days to track this place down. His voice shook. Maya, we thought we'd be too late. We thought you'd be dead. I survived, she said simply. I always do. 3 months later, Maya sat in Professor's office on Prime. Her injuries had healed, though she still moved carefully. The university had been informed of her true identity. She had expected expulsion. Instead was smiling. The administration has a proposal for you. They want you to teach a self-defense course and serve as student advocate for at-risk populations. Maya blinked. They want me to teach. You saved 17 students at great personal cost. You demonstrated courage, skill, and most importantly, you showed that strength can be used to protect rather than harm. Colors shifted to warm tones. Sierra specifically requested it. She and the others have formed a support group. They want your guidance. It was more than Maya had hoped for. A chance to use what she had been, what she had survived, to help others. I accept, she said. That evening found her in the campus commons. So, Professor Brooks now. Maya laughed, then winced at the remaining soreness in her ribs. Instructor at best, I still need to finish my own degree. Fair enough, sat beside her. Hey, I got a message from he opened a training facility, legal fighting, teaching self-defense. He wants you to visit sometime. Maybe I will. Maya looked at her hands. The scars were still there, reminders of everything she had survived. Do you regret it, finding out who I really am? Are you kidding? You're the most amazing person I know, he smiled. I just regret not realizing it sooner. Maya stood and walked to her locker. Inside was her academic awards, but also something new. A hologram showing all 17 students she had saved, smiling together. Sierra had sent it to her with a simple message. Thank you for believing we were worth saving. She touched the hologram gently. All her life, people had tried to define her. As merchandise, as a weapon, as a student, but she was more than any single label. She was Maya Brooks, who had survived Gehenna and built a new life. She was the ghost, who had won 47 matches through skill and determination. She was a protector who had risked everything to save innocent people. She was all of those things, and that was enough. Ready for class? Asked. Maya closed her locker. Always. They walked together through the campus, past the towers and gardens, past the students of 100 species living and learning together. Maya had spent years hiding who she was, afraid that her past would destroy her future. But the past and the future were not separate things. They were threads of the same story. What she had been made it possible to do what she had done, and what she had done made it possible to become who she was meant to be. A student, a fighter, a teacher, a friend, a survivor who chose to use her strength to protect those who could not protect themselves. The ghost of Gehenna had disappeared years ago, but Maya Brooks was here, and she was ready for whatever came next. Given him, saliva dripped from his fangs. This would be harder. She could do it again. She had to. Too many lives depended on it. They were wrong on both counts. Because Maya Brooks might look like just another student. She might seem quiet and unremarkable. But looks were deceiving, and the people behind these disappearances were about to learn a very painful lesson. Some students were exactly what they appeared to be. Maya was not one of them.